Welcome to this special council meeting of Brighton and Hove City Council. We are delighted to welcome all those who are attending, both in person and online. As you know, this special meeting is being held to honour the freedom of the city to two highly deserving individuals. This is the highest honour the council can give, and this meeting is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate two people who have contributed so much to our city. Turning to formal business, I would like to inform those present that this meeting is being webcast live to the internet and will be capable of repeated viewing. I would also remind everyone that the use of mobile communication devices in the chamber is allowed as long as they remain in silent mode. Anyone present is able to film, photograph, or take sound recordings of today's meeting, provided it is done in a way that does not interfere with the proceedings and that flash photography is not used. Are there any declarations of interest by councillors in any matters appearing on the agenda for this special meeting? On to the main business for this meeting. We will take this and discuss each of the two nominations individually. I will first call on Councillor Sankey, Leader of the Council, to move the nomination of Emily Kenwood for the Honorary Free Woman of the City of Brighton and Hove. Emily, would you like to come forward, please? Thank you. Councillor Sankey, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm delighted to welcome everybody here to this special council meeting to consider our latest report on the honorary freedom of the city. Today we come together not just as a council but as a community to shine a spotlight on and celebrate two truly remarkable people whose lives and work have touched the very heart of Brighton and Hove. First, I'd like to welcome Emily Kenwood. Emily is the founder of Time to Talk Befriending. Volunteer befrienders, providing companionship through regular calls, outings, community events and emotional support. Emily's work ensures that no one is overlooked or forgotten, but rather seen, valued and connected. Of the charity's work, Emily has said that it is her greatest joy and privilege to meet so many amazing people in their later years. They enrich my life and those of our team of volunteers in ways that are hard to put into words. This sentiment is clearly reciprocated by those benefiting from the charity's work, as we can see from the beautiful testimonials that were included in the nomination for Emily for this award. Participants in the tea parties have said they look forward to attending, enjoy it at the time, and remember it with pleasure afterwards. The testimonials from people who are part of the Befriending Network stated how powerful the work of the charity is, helping them feel less alone, giving them activities to look forward to, and finding a purpose again. Noting friendship is a priceless gift. Today's nomination marks the first to be awarded under our new transparent policy adopted in July, reflecting our commitment to fairness and inclusion as a council. I'd like to thank Helen Mason for this nomination. By recognising Emily, we are celebrating compassion in action for her work addressing isolation and loneliness, and leadership that inspires, showcasing grassroots volunteerism at its finest and most impactful. The Freedom of the City Honour is more than a title. It's a reflection of who we are as a city that values compassion and commitment, a city that celebrates those who lift others up and make us stronger together. Emily embodies these values in ways that inspire us all in this chamber. So on behalf of this council, I express our deepest gratitude to Emily for transforming loneliness into friendship and renewed purpose for so many in their later life, and to all the volunteers and colleagues that work alongside her. Thank you for your service, Emily, for your vision and your unwavering dedication to Brighton and Hove. It's my privilege to introduce this report and recommend that we confer the title of Honorary Free Woman of the City on Emily Kenwood. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sankey. I will now open the floor for contributions from other members who wish to speak on Emily's nomination. Marina, Councillor Leathermaker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm absolutely over the moon to be here to support Emily Kenwood receiving the highest honour the Council can confer, the Freedom of the City Award, for the incredible impact she has had on raising awareness of loneliness and genuinely changing lives through the work of Time to Talk, the charity Emily founded that has supported thousands of older people in Brighton and Hove since it was founded over 14 years ago. When Emily was studying social work at the University of Brighton, walking around Kemp Town, she noticed the high-rises and housing schemes she passed daily, housing hundreds of older people she simply never saw. Wanting to understand the scale and the impact of social isolation going on, Emily's research uncovered just how many people felt invisible and lacked purpose, often not even knowing their next-door neighbour, with many having not seen or talked to anyone for months. What came out as the most common yearning, the need for friendship and for company, informed the approach of Time to Talk, providing opportunities for so many of our elderly to find friends, be at events, and crucially, re-experience community. Loneliness may not be one of the most immediate problems that comes to mind when you think of struggles facing residents, but it is a huge problem in Brighton and Hove. We all experience loneliness at some point in our lives, and I know amongst my own friends that this crisis is acutely felt by young people. Before our city's elderly, it can be fatal, raising the risk of early death by 25%. Loneliness takes years off people's lives and is linked to a higher risk of stroke, heart failure, and susceptibility to infection. And each lonely person costs the NHS an average of £850 a year. Conversely, social interaction leads to healthier, happier, and longer lives. Sadly, despite us all needing one another, we are more digitally but less socially connected. And 40% of over 65s in Brighton report feeling lonely all or most of the time. Emily did personally a huge amount to highlight the intensity of loneliness experienced during lockdowns. When they began and many of us turned to the sofa, Emily sprang to action, distributing thousands of emergency food parcels containing 2 fresh home-cooked meals made by local chefs. So as councillor for Queen's Park, where many feel lonely regularly, it's a particular honour to support Emily's recommendation for this award, not least because one of the most wonderful benches in the whole of Queen's Park, the first I ever sat on in Brighton, bears her name to honour all Emily embodies and all she has contributed to our city, showing that loneliness really is something that we tackle together. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you, Councillor Leathermaker. Councillor Cholak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very pleased to echo Councillor Sankey's recommendation to confer the honour of freedom of the city on Emily Kenwood. The speeches we've just heard demonstrate why this recognition is so richly deserved, and I'd like to reiterate those sentiments while reflecting on the deep issues that Emily's work through Time to Talk befriending so powerfully addresses. Loneliness and social isolation are often described as silent challenges to society. They can easily be missed by those who are fortunately not afflicted by them, but their impact on those who do experience it can be significant. They can drastically alter daily life, affect mental and physical health, and erode a sense of purpose and belonging. All too often, it's our elderly who are affected. There's a fundamental issue facing communities across our society, and it's one that cannot be solved by policy alone. It requires compassion, time, human connection, and sustained commitment. Time to Talk Befriending has, for more than a decade, provided exactly that. Through simple but profoundly meaningful acts, a regular phone call, a shared walk, a cup of tea, or friendly conversation, the charity has rebuilt connections where they have been lost and restored dignity where people had felt forgotten. It has reminded many of our residents that they matter, that they are seen, and that they are valued members of our community. The scale of this work is remarkable, but what is perhaps most striking is its depth. The testimonials of those they've supported speak not just of activities attended or calls received, but of lives changed. People speak of having something to look forward to again, of rediscovering joy, and of finding friendship at a time in life when it can feel increasingly out of reach. This impact does not happen by chance. It is a result of Emily's vision, her leadership, and her unwavering belief in the power of human connection. She has built an organisation rooted in kindness and volunteerism, whilst ensuring it is professional, sustainable and deeply responsive to the needs of our city. In doing so, she has also inspired hundreds of volunteers to give their time, their empathy and their care. On behalf of the city, I wish to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, Emily, and to each and every member of your staff and every volunteer whose hard work has affected the lives of so many. You're all a testament to the kindness that can be found in this city.
Thank you, Councillor Cholak. Do any other members wish to make a contribution? Okay. Thank you for all your contributions, and to Councillor Sankey for moving the nomination. The motion to confer the title of Freedom of the City of Brighton and Hove to Emily Kenwood has been moved, and the Council is asked to approve the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hands. Wow. Any abstentions? No. Any against? No. Superb. Thank you. Thank you. Emily, please come forward to receive your award. I now call on Councillor Sankey to move the nomination of Abraham Georgios for Honorary Freeman of the City of Brighton and Hove. Councillor Sankey.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. It's now my pleasure to welcome our next nominee today, Abraham Georgios. Our city thrives because of people who give themselves, often quietly, tirelessly, and with deep compassion. Today we recommend our highest civic honour, the Honorary Freedom of the City, to Abraham Georgios. For me, this is a profound moment of pride, gratitude and joy. Abraham has devoted 37 years to serving our city and is celebrated today for his unwavering commitment to local democracy and race equality. Rising from a refugee, somebody who sought asylum in this country in 1982, to becoming corporate director, principal legal advisor and monitoring officer, Abraham's leadership and advocacy for Black and global majority communities has left an indelible mark on this city's civic life. Abraham has played a pivotal role in shaping both committee-based and cabinet-run councils since the unification of this authority. He has always been diplomatic, first and foremost, wise and skilled at problem solving and working with elected members, senior officers and partner organisations. He advised minority and majority administrations across the political spectrum. Abraham's career included work on complex housing interventions, such as making a control order and subsequent compulsory purchase order of a 19-bed-sit slum in the ownership of a private landlord. This was the most complex and serious housing intervention a local housing authority could make at the time, and directly positively impacted the lives of residents in this city. Abraham, your contribution to the city is a powerful testament to the values of justice, equality and sanctuary that define our city, especially your work in tackling housing issues. Throughout your career, you have safeguarded hundreds of residents and ensured that their voices are heard in this chamber. On behalf of this council, I express our deepest gratitude to you for a lifetime of service and your exceptional contribution to the city. From safeguarding democratic processes, championing race equality, delivering social justice in housing, to now as a volunteer for the Southern Hospice Group, as a co-optee member to committees of the Board of Trustees, you are continuing to improve the lives of others in your selfless way. Abraham, I know that you wish to accept this award not as a personal recognition, but as a recognition of the city who welcomes people, as members and colleagues who have showed you respect, and on behalf of a council that believed in equal opportunities. I'd like to thank Tim Nichols for nominating Abraham under our policy. By recognising Abraham, we are celebrating justice and democracy for his work upholding rights, equality and civic participation, as well as leadership that inspires, from a refugee to a corporate director shaping local governance. Today we don't just recognise two individuals, we celebrate the spirit of community that makes our city extraordinary and reminds us of what's possible with eminent service. It gives me great pride to be leading a council where we celebrate those who embody our city's values of openness, solidarity, a place where everybody can feel genuinely valued, respected and at home. I'm delighted to recommend that we bestow the title of Honorary Freeman of the City on Abraham Giebri Georgis. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I will now open the floor for contributions from other members who wish to speak on Abraham's nomination. Councillor Shanks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. When I first joined the council in 2011, Abraham was already an institution in the city and in the council, and it was incredibly helpful to us as a new administration coming in, and how the council works, etc. Everything was there in his brain. It's like that thing in Harry Potter, isn't it? What's it called? And I've just thought of that, sorry. You need one of those things to bring it all out and just put it somewhere else, because it's all in there. And he's not shy about bringing it out to be helpful, to be honest. Most recently, he gave us a complete potted history of how we didn't have a cabinet, then we had a cabinet, why the government had to introduce a special law to make Brighton and Hove have a cabinet system. And so that was very helpful. I don't think anybody's really known Abraham's personal politics, but he's definitely on the side of local democracy and made councillors feel important, as though we have power in the city, even though obviously he actually also had quite a lot of power, and so did the officers. I did ask some of my former colleagues what they thought about, about Abraham, and all the way from Australia, Natasha highlighted his strong moral values, deep sense of compassion and concern for the vulnerable running through his work, even in the driest of local government law circumstances. And Leo said that he has more case law in his head than a room full of ordinary lawyers. So there you go. As for me, I do usually agree with everything that Abraham says, apart from on amendments, which we've often had our little discussions about. And if you look at the agenda today, you might recognise why I might also be not very happy about that. But anyway, but I'm very pleased that we can offer the freedom of the city to Abraham. We're never sure what the freedom to do is, what it is, but we are sure that Abraham, whatever it is, will do it in a principled and committed fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shanks. Councillor Robbins.
Speak them off. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Sankey, for proposing Abraham. And for me, it's a real pleasure and privilege to be able to speak about Abraham and all that he's achieved for the council and the city. It's great to see not only all the love and affection shown towards him, but also the universal sense of gratitude and respect that we all feel about him. There are not many councillors who have not at one time or another been grateful for Abraham's help. His wise counsel was always available. I remember many things about Abraham in the more than a decade that I knew him as our monitoring officer. I remember the day in June 2018 when he told us for the first time in 20 years his own country was no longer at war. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. But I suppose what I remember most is working closely with Abraham in my time as mayor. 6 weeks before I was due to become mayor, we went into lockdown and had to stay at home, certainly not gather in the chamber like we are this afternoon. So how are we to conduct the business of council? Apparently on something called Teams. It's difficult to remember just 5 years later how new this all was. And again, we looked to Abraham to work it all out and tell us how we was going to do it. I remember sitting at home in a small room for the first time with 50 odd faces on a screen in front of me, conducting a full council meeting, like today, in my mayoral chains and pyjama bottoms. I don't know what you were wearing, Abraham. Some councillors told me they switched off at 9 o'clock and went to take the dog for a walk. But Abraham, myself, Jeff Roy, who I've seen here today, Mark Wall, we stuck it out to the very bitter end, sometimes around midnight. And as things opened up, we had hybrid meetings, some in, some out. And we could not have done any of that without Abraham's help at a very, very difficult time, as you can imagine. So as I've said, it's a true honour to have known Abraham and to be part of this celebration today. No one could deserve this recognition more. I wish you a long and very happy, although if we believe what we've heard today, a very busy retirement. You are a wise, kind and softly spoken man, and I say that having sat next to you up there for 2 years and hardly understood a word you said to me. but a very, very special gentleman. Thank you very much for all the help you gave me.
Thank you, Councillor Robbins. Do we have any more contributions from any members on the floor? No. Okay. So thank you all for your contributions, and again to Councillor Sankey for moving this nomination. The motion to confer the title of Freedom of the City to Brighton and Hove to Abraham G. Gregorgius has been approved and moved, and the council is, it's been moved, not approved, can't for myself, has been moved, and the council is asked to approve the motion. Those in favour, please raise your hands. Fantastic. I think that was unanimous, wasn't it? Yes. The recommendation as set out in the report has been carried. Thank you, Abraham. Please come forward to receive your award.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, members. We're not supposed to do a speech during these proceedings, but I've been given an exception because I want to mention just two things. First is, as Councillor Sankey mentioned, for me, this award says a lot more about the city than myself. The city of sanctuary, city of fairness. It's a beacon of hope, and may its light continue to shine for generations to come. The second point I want to make is that the theme in this, the report, etc., is public service, fairness, justice, etc. And many people make a lot of sacrifices for fairness, for justice, for freedom, and some of them pay the ultimate price. And two of the people who paid the ultimate price in this were my two brothers, Siyum Gabriel-Georgis and Eob Gabriel-Georgis. They died while fighting for freedom, for justice, and for equality. And I would like to dedicate this present to my two brothers, to your brothers. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Abraham. I'm looking forward to inviting you both to the Mayor's Parlour in the new year Thank you again for attending today with your supporters and for those that we nominated you with their nominations. That concludes the business for this special meeting, and I will now declare the meeting closed. There will now be a short break before full council meeting starts with prayers at 4:20. Thank you.